Welcome back to Live Talk. Your calls are coming in fast and furious.
Very stuck on the front of it. I think you should release it at once and send it back to the wild. Or is it that it's been washed with my husband's Black Fire Brigade socks? Kay, answer, please.
What, you want me to confess about me and Teresa's husband?
I thought it was fine.
On live television?
Please.
I thought there was spiders.
Absolutely not. No way, no way. Well, talking about wild things, there has nobody wild in the 80s than our next guest. Here she is. A warm welcome, please, to Toyah Willcox. Now, admit it, Toyah, we were having a little chat there and she's thinking, I don't have anything that I could repeat.
It's all totally ex-certificate, and not to do with me, it's to do with roadies.
Oh, they're the worst.
Roadies and their antics.
Yeah, but no, we're not going to go into that.
Don't go there.
Go into that. Now, the 80s was kind of seen as a wild time, wasn't it? And I mean, well, your career has spanned 20-odd years, but at that time, early 80s, you were big in the pop business, and you were very noticeable with your dramatic hairstyles, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Were these your kind of golden years? You look back on that, you've written your autobiography now.
Nope.
No?
I mean, it was great. It was everything I wanted. I don't know if it was the same for you, but the 80s was just blind ambition.
Yeah.
And the ambition kind of ruined everything. If you just kind of went with it and had a really good time, then it would have been golden years. But nothing was good enough. Even, you know, getting to #4, the next time you had to get to #1, or then the album had to be better than the last album. It was...
And different today, when you did get to #4 and #1, you stayed there for a good amount of weeks.
And you got there because you sold well over 200,000 units.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas today, well, recently, only about 4 years ago, a very famous woman got to #1, Midsummer, selling 2,000 units. Now, if you... my last #4 was selling 75,000 units a day. So it's a very different world now. But it was fun. It was everything I wanted.
Was your image and all of that, was that what you wanted? Or did someone come along and say, look, this is the route you should go down, like they did with us?
The problem was, I started my image when I was about 14. I was a hair model at a place called Rackham's in Birmingham. And I used to have my hair dyed, and I had to go home wearing a scarf, and Mum would pull the scarf off and go, because my hair would be bright blue or something. So I was cultivating the image from a really early age, and I felt I was a different person, therefore I should look different. Why try and act normal? But when I became really famous with the huge hair, the huge makeup and everything, the image became more important than the music. And I spent more time doing photo sessions than actually writing. And I think that is just a strange irony about the business.
All your own stuff?
I co-wrote with my guitarist Joel Bogan and a keyboard player called Adrian Lee.
Right. And was it always like an expression of what you're going through?
Oh, totally, and a responsibility.
So were you always comfortable being different? I mean, you say I was different. What made you different? I mean, I know that you were born with a physical disability.
Yeah, I think being born with a physical disability that was very minor, but it meant I limped, and it meant I didn't talk very well. I didn't talk properly as such until I was about 6 or 7, after I had intensive physiotherapy and speech lessons. I was born with twisted spine, one leg longer than the other, no pelvic joint, and
wasn't that minor?
Well, it is, because you can't see it, and amazing speech impediment that meant that I sprayed everyone within 24 feet of me with saliva. Now that wasn't really a problem. I could lead a normal life, but kids at school are very aware of things like that. And as soon as I started school, it was like, oh, look at Hopalong and blah, 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 Hopalong, you know, they were cruel. That made me feel different. But the best thing about feeling different was the birth name my mother gave me, which is Toyah Pepita Budella.
Where did she get that from?
She said she read it in a book, but I got a letter in 1981 from the sheriff of Toyah in Arizona saying, do you know that Toyah's a Red Indian tribe, and it's a lake, meaning giver of life, and it's overshadowed by Willcox Mountain? And I said to my mum, did you look on a map? And she said, no way.
Isn't that weird?
But that name's been a real gift.
Why?
It's been like a talisman, because no one's ever heard it before. I was obviously quirky physically, and certainly quirky in humour, and the name just seemed to join and complete the circle, as it were.
But how did you overcome all of that to become what you became? I mean, a lot of kids going through that would have become timid, just shrunk away, and didn't want to stand out.
I was like that. I was like that till I was about 14, and then I got fed up of being bullied, and I walked into school one day, and there was a particularly bright girl who took the mickey from morning to night out of me, and I whacked her over the head with a chair.
Oh, good for you.
But then...
That's Colleen's kind of thing. She likes
I love that.
It went from bad to worse, because then I became the bully. And I was perceived as the bully, therefore I actually got off on being perceived as the bully, and I became the bully. And it was quite a different... I ended school with people just begging me to leave, you know, please don't stay on and do your A-levels, just go.
I leave here like that.
Is all this in the autobiography?
Well, I wrote that. Firstly, it's flattering to be asked, but I didn't have any role models as a kid because women didn't dare misbehave. And I've written that as a passage through life for anyone who's told, one, you're not bright, one, you're not beautiful, one, you can't do what your dreams make you want to do. You can. If there's a will and there's discipline and determination, you can do it. And that's what the book's about.
Is it therapeutic, writing an autobiography?
Cathartic.
Cathartic, right.
It's,
I don't know what that means.
You get it all out, love. You get it all out.
Thanks for that.
The timing of it's perfect because it's now firmly in the past, in the old millennium. And I like that timing. And if you ask me if 1981 were the golden years, no, now are, because I've never been happier and more kind of self-confident. I can really take life on. And the odd wrinkle isn't going to stop me either.
So what's next? Because one thing, and we're not going to have time to talk about it, unfortunately, you have constantly reinvented yourself, which fascinates me. You've never been kind of stuck, well, this was my golden time and I'm going to hang on for grim death. You've always changed. So what's coming up?
Well, I'm fairly lucky because I've got back into acting. So I've got a minuscule role in a new film that opens next month called The Most Fertile Man in Ireland, which is just stunning. It's lovely. Great comedy. I'm shooting Aunt Boomerang. I don't know if your children are young enough to watch Aunt Boomerang, which is BBC One, so I do that.
I've seen you in that.
And numerous other acting projects, so I'm lucky.
Oh, well. Well, we look forward to hearing them. I hope you're going to stay for our phone call, but in the meantime, a warm round of applause for Toyah Willcox.